Breaking ground on a nation's conscience. This new museum is only a few blocks from the White House, and its immediate neighbor is the iconic monument to the nation's founding father and first president, George Washington. What's perhaps most striking about this brand new museum are the different physical levels in which the exhibits take place. So down to the very basement where you can see the remnants of the slave ship, and up to the very heights of recent contemporary African-American cultural achievement. Around 12.5 million Africans were brought to America, transported like cargo in the holds of wooden ships. The story is told through objects that are thought to be the first ever recovered from a ship wrecked while transporting the enslaved.
What these objects from shipwrecks of slavers allow us is to bring that story to a human scale, ship by ship, voyage by voyage.
The Portuguese vessel, the São José, ran aground in treacherous South African coastal waters more than 200 years ago. Half of the 400 Mozambican slaves drowned. The objects are on loan from the Iziko Museums of South Africa, which has formed a partnership with the Smithsonian and others, including museums in Mozambique and Senegal, to create the Slave Wrecks Project.
Everywhere we work, we train Africans, African Americans, and others to do this work on maritime landscapes, archaeological work underwater, and to begin to tell those stories in those locales.
Close by to the slave ship remnants, you can find a panel memorializing the protest march led by veteran civil rights activist and former presidential contender, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Among his demands on the day of President Ronald Reagan's second inauguration was to end support to apartheid South Africa.
We speak different languages, but the same message. We speak the language of the captors, but the message is the same: freedom and dignity for everybody.
And this museum tells that story in a way that hasn't before.
It forces us to reshuffle the decks of American history. This is the foundation of American history.
And within that endless reshuffle, a critical voice from the next generation of African-American leaders, Namakau Mbaba, says that this new museum is not doing enough to explain African cultures past and present and their links to America.
I don't think Africa was well explored. I think it's important that it's very good that they acknowledge Africa, but it wasn't really like a nuanced view of Africa or society, African society, as it contributes to African American communities and cultures and things like that.
But it's also clear that as the museum begins opening its doors to the public, it's seeking to establish strong foundational and contemporary links with Mother Africa. Daniel Ryntjes, CCTV, Washington.